gather my thoughts. Spider-Man 2. The glasses are on because my eyes are wet and they're like, misty-eyed, still a little bit crusty from the tears, man. I put this in the status update, man. I don't think I've cried that many times in a Marvel movie. And so I'm not really a gigantic, huge person when it comes to action movies and emotional, kind of love stories. For example, Attack of the Clones, Iron Man 3 was a little bit too emotional for me, but it wasn't a proper balance. Like, that was beautiful. That was a story. That was a movie. That was action. That was adventure. That was hope. That's what that was. There was a mixture. That it wasn't just Notebook. You don't do notebooky things, you know what I'm saying? Which I like Notebook. It's a good movie for what it is. You don't do notebooky things with Marvel and with, the X-Men and Spider-Man and, Deadpool and all of that. That, Mark Webb, yo! And that at the same time. It was great. Wonderful story. Go see it. Go do it and see it and feel it. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. There's a lot of things that we as Marvel and as comic book readers know about, but you're not really sure if they're going to do. And I'm not going to do a spoiler, but there's a lot of whoa in this movie. So Andrew Garfield, wonderful. Jamie Foxx is Electro. Honestly, I didn't think he was going to pull that off, and they did an upgrade to that. Of course, he didn't have that goofy, sun thing that they had in the comic books. Nice upgrade, way to bring it current. No pun intended, because he's Electro current. But Harry Osborn making his transformation kind of very human and understandable. Like, it's nice when you have a criminal that you get, where it's like, yo, you know what? There's really something human about crime sometimes. And what I mean by that is when you see your drug dealers out there, you see people that, hurt other people, you're not saying that you agree with it, but when there's a human element, you're like, oh, I understand. I get it. It wouldn't have been a choice I made, but the guy that, sells or does drugs, it's not does drugs, but sells drugs and to amass stuff for his family, there's something human about it. That's all I mean. But yeah, the 3D element was kind of, you could have taken that or given it, that wasn't really necessary. It was good, but you don't have to go see it in 3D. If you go see it, you don't have to necessarily go see it in 3D, but it was kind of cool and fresh. They stayed true not only to the original source material. There's a bunch of things that they did, but they're also pledging allegiance to those of us who play the game, the Amazing Spider-Man game, and the Oscorp background story. Really, really cool. So if you love the game, there's a lot of things that you're like, oh, there's that, oh, there's this, there's these things, even the game Playscape, PlayStation Gamescape. Gamescape, is that a word? Gamescape? Landscape of the game. You knew what I meant. So anyway, I say it. Amazing Spider-Man Part 2. 5 Glasses of Milk. The hope in children. When you feel that, you actually, for this movie, more so, you feel it a little bit with Tobey Maguire, but Mark Webb and Andrew Garfield bring that whole thing of you remember when you were a little kid wanting to be Spider-Man, to do things with Spider-Man, the interaction with Spider-Man, interacting with him, hoping that you ever have that kind of experience with him. Like that, it touches on a lot of childhood stuff. And of course, you can't ever leave out of fantastic movies the affirmation of the father. That's always going to be in good movies. The affirmation and the longing for the father. Hear me. Don't listen. Hear what I'm saying. Gregory says some stuff, man. This is that Amazing Spider-Man review. Go and see it. You need